Hey, Mary Kim Niadze, welcome to the Prudentials. Thanks for joining. I'm waiting for David to join me here. Hey, Ida Lawrence Niadze, how are you? Welcome guys. David, I can see you there. I'm gonna invite you. I'm gonna send an invite here. Yeah, sending an invite to David so you can get started. Hey guys, tonight we're going to talk about Diaspora Federal Credit Union. Hey Roda Niadze, what's up? Welcome to the broadcast. Yeah, Cherio baby, karibu sana. David, if you can see the invite, go ahead and accept so we can get started here. David is the chairman and CEO of proposed Diaspora Federal Credit Union. We're going to talk about it. What is it? Who is supposed to join? And he also going to tell us the difference between the credit union and the SACCO, because I have that question come up on my Facebook. So let me invite David here so we can get started. David, take a second here for me to add him there. So tag a friend, invite a friend. This is going to be a good show. Hi, David. How are you? I hope you can be able to hear me. Hey, can you hear me?
I can. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Georgie?
I'm good. Yeah. So, guys, welcome to the Prudential Show. I have David here. He is a CEO and a chairman of proposed Diaspora Federal Credit Union. We're gonna talk to David and know what is it about this credit union. He also gonna tell us the product and the services they're offering on this credit union. And if I'm not wrong, David, this is the first credit union in diaspora for Kenya, is it? Or do you have another one, or this is the first one, as far as I know, because I did my own research?
Yes. First of all, George, I just want to say thank you so much for providing us with this platform to share with everybody what this is all about. And to answer your question, this is the first diaspora-led credit union that has advanced to the level that we've advanced to at this point. And by that, I mean we've been granted preliminary approval by the federal government, the National Credit Union Administration, to proceed with the final licensing.
Okay, so and we're going to talk about that. Yeah. So before we go too far, David, I'll have you introduce yourself to the viewers. Tell us who you are, where you're from, where you went to school, and any area of expertise, please, if you will.
Oh, gladly. Well, of course, my name's David Ochwangi. I think most of the diaspora has known me for a while now because I participate in the community a lot. But I'm originally from a little... Can you see me?
I hope I didn't lose it there. Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, maybe someone was trying to call you.
Georgia, called Kennesaw State University for my undergraduate in accounting and my MBA in finance. And I am also a CPA. I'm licensed in the state of Georgia, certified public accountant. I'm also what they call a certified management accountant. That's a CMA title. And I, during the day, I work in, corporate America. I'm a controller for a company here in Atlanta. And outside of that, I'm very involved in the community and what goes on with the diaspora from business standpoint, political standpoint. I try to be as involved as I can.
Yeah, there you guys, you have it. This is David Ochwangi, CPA, CMA, MBA finance, very good, titles right there, David. Let's talk about this Diaspora Federal Credit Union. If you can tell us what is it about, or if you can give a quick description about these, the Diaspora Federal Credit Union.
Oh, gladly. Maybe I should start by giving the overview, the big picture, if you
Yes.
will.
Yeah.
So, over time, we've been in a position where we literally, have so much economic clout as the diaspora, but it's not really been consolidated. It has not had a lot of structure, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I like to quote this philosopher Aristotle that said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That means that if we got together, we can actually achieve more. So, it came to a point that we actually need a more structured way to organize our finances, invest in a more corporate format, and over the last couple of years, I think it started in 2016, we said we actually need a financial institution like a bank in the United States that is licensed by the government, that is overseen by the government of the United States, and that will give us, as a diaspora, leverage to be able to put our resources together in that platform and be able to, in addition to the benefits that, banks give to the account holders, in our case, it will be members that hold accounts within the organization, we'll also
Mm-hmm.
be able to, do business with other countries, for example, with Kenya, with whoever else. So that's how that idea came about. So it's more of a strategic angle when you really think of it, because we were thinking, let's just create this one platform, which is a financial institution. And then off of that platform, we can do a lot more else. We can invest. There's another entity out here that we started. It's called Diaspora Capital Group. So that
Mm-hmm.
is into a lot of other things, which is outside the scope of what we're talking about tonight. But we will do, all those accounts that we bring on board, it will, we'll be able to then direct resources in different areas that we wanted to invest in. So it's more of a coalition or an economic movement that we're starting, and we want to be able to, redirect how we invest and how we bank as a people. So,
Yeah, economic revolution. Yeah, that's right. And every day I'm waking up, I'm finding something new. And if this is not a dreaming big, I don't know what is it called, because a credit union, guys, that's serious. When I read about you guys about maybe 3 weeks ago, I was like, wow, these guys, they're going, too far, which is good. The sky is the limit. If you can tell us, David, who are the founders of this credit union? And if you can also tell us when was it founded?
very good. So, the founders of the credit union, I'm one of them.
Okay.
Actually, this was an idea that was born out of a diaspora conference that we hold annually. So about 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 2006, we had a diaspora conference in Atlanta, and I'm one of the organizers for for the conferences. And what we decided for the conferences, that anytime we do these events or conferences, we want them to be outcome driven. In other words, we want to be able to look back and say, what did we actually achieve, or what are the
Mm-hmm.
deliverables from this particular event? So the idea of having our financial institution was formed at the time, and then I kind of ran with it. So what you would consider to be the organizer. But if you guys you get time to go look at our website, it's actually www.diasporafcu.org. It will enumerate everybody that is on there as part of the team that is running this organization. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I'm allowed to, but everybody that is on there, I can name maybe a few names that are the
Yeah,
organizers.
we got to come to that, David, because I
Uh,
have that question here at the leadership. And again, you see the website is www.diasporafcu.org. That's the website if you wanna dig more information about these credit union. The other question I have for you is about the vision or the mission statement, if you guys have any, What are you guys looking to do different? What is your mission statement for these credit union?
Well, on the site itself, it will say we want to be the bank of choice for our diaspora. In other words, we want to be able, to be the ones that everybody, every Kenyan in the diaspora looks up to from a banking standpoint in terms of where they want to get their money banked, where they want to get their loans, car loans, credit cards, name it. We want to be the go-to people or the go-to bank, more of like a one-stop shopping for financial needs of our diaspora. So
Okay. Go
no,
ahead.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
so that's our immediate need. But remember, as I said at the beginning, one of the reasons we got into this is from a strategic standpoint. If we get this one right, then we should be able to even lend not only to our members, but we can even lend to the Kenyan government, for example. There are all these organizations or countries that lend Kenya money for astronomical amounts of interest payments, off of taxpayers, for example. We're saying that we want in the action, and we want to be able to redirect our government and maybe compete for the government businesses from a lending standpoint, things like the Eurobond and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I want to stress this is a proposed Diaspora Federal Credit Union is not up and running yet. So it's at initial stages of being chartered or licensed. I just want to verify that because I see some of the questions there. I was going through your website, David, and I see the funds, they are insured up to $250,000, dollars. What do you guys mean by that? Either, if you can expound on that.
Oh, sure, greatly. In the United, can you see me? Georgie, can you hear me okay? Mine is showing post.
Oh, okay. Is this somebody trying to call you, maybe?
Could be, but who knows? Sorry about that. But can you see me okay now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay,
It's
I
good. Yeah.
apologize for that. So when we're talking about $250,000 in insurance, what that really means is that for each deposit, for each $1 you deposit in the Federal Credit Union, in our bank, it's insured against loss up to 250,000 US dollars. It's really the same amount of money that you insured against loss with the with the regular banks. So the only difference is that FDIC insures commercial banks deposits, and the National Credit Union Administration would insure credit union deposits. But what it really means to Kenyans is that you really don't have to fear when you put your money in the account in the bank when we open it, because it's insured up to that amount, and which is a good thing, especially relative to other banks outside of the U.S. in Kenya, for example.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully, he will be able to resolve that technical difficulty here. Okay,
Yeah,
there he is. Okay.
yeah, I apologize for that. I think the way this phone is set up, I forgot my iPad at work, but I probably should have used that one because this one.
No, that's fine. You're fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's really what it means. The long and short of it, in summary, is that your money would be insured up to 250K against losses.
Okay, and then we have so many credit union here. So many, especially here in Texas. Why start these, Diaspora Federal Credit Union? What's the motivation behind this?
Well, okay. I just want to make sure I understand the question properly. Do you mean actual federal credit unions, or do you mean SACCOs? Oh, okay. It is. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. The question, if you understand it, but I can, expound. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've said is that, of course, the credit unions more than anything, they are cooperative banks, just what we call the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. So communities, they range in number from a number of people, but communities, if they have the financial wherewithal to open and operate a credit union, generally speaking, the federal government would grant it, depending on if what that is all about. But I think what sets us apart from everybody else is that we're so unique in the audience or the customers that we want to appeal to, which is the Kenyan community. I think we have a certain unique set of circumstances that cannot generally be addressed in the normal credit unions that are established by Americans for Americans. For example, if you wanted to buy a home in Kenya, we should be able to figure out a way to lend you that money, maybe a down payment or other things that you needed more so than you would be able to get from an American bank. I don't think an American bank is going to lend you money so you go put it somewhere else. So I think that's one other advantage of that, because of those unique circumstances that are specific to us as Kenyans. Then we will have more flexibility on how we manage the funds, provided we're within the parameters that we're supposed to be within.
Okay, and I don't know whether this is an appropriate question, but I'm going to ask you if those are unique stuff you're talking about, maybe lending money for somebody who want to buy a home in Kenya. Is it governed, or is it can be approved by the governing body for the credit union? For instance, in this case, is National Credit Union Administration. Do they have the specifications for people giving loans to people like in the foreign countries? If you wanna, explain on that.
Well, generally, and I think this is where I need to be extremely careful about.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about loaning money, sometimes you have, let's say, signature loans that are just based on somebody's credit. They don't have collateralized anything. Sometimes it could be a car that you buy. But I think from what I understand so far, based on my communication with them, again, like I said, we're what they consider a field of membership that is unique to Kenyans. So that extends to those of us that are here, provided that that loan that you take, for example, is part of the banking product that we offer, and we can provide proper collateral, proper security against that, then we should be okay. So the whole point of it is that we have a whole lot more discretion as a bank, as a banking entity, because we're going to have an investment committee, a loan committee, people that make those decisions within those parameters that we establish as an organization. And I think from that standpoint, we should be able to decide, is this guy going to make an investment in a home in Kenya? And then what are you going to do? We can hold to that title for that home, for example. So the answer is yes. It just has to be more refined so it's more definitive.
Okay, and then the most important thing is being licensed. And again, I want to be careful. This is proposed. It's not licensed yet. How far are you guys on the chartering process?
Well, and that's a great question, Georgie. I think we've come a long way. What we've obtained what we consider to be preliminary approval. It's called the Field of Membership, FOM. So what that means is that the federal government has actually recognized us as a group that could run a bank and to meet our needs. So that, threshold we've met and surpassed. And as we're speaking now, we're working on the final package. In other words, there's a total of about 30 different items that we have to put together as a package and submit it to the government. So we're working on that, and I think we should be able to submit it in maybe 2 or 3 months, one of which, if you would indulge me, I'm going to ask or request our audience to help us with. We have to do surveys with the membership or the potential membership. So we've created a form that we'll be able to share with you guys and say, could you please fill this survey so we can submit it with the, alongside the package. So we about maybe 2-3 months out. I think after we do all the paperwork, the other obstacle that we have to overcome is, of course, raising funds. Credit unions are generally member driven, so it's donated capital. That's how the government sees it. We got to tell people, hey, we're in good business. The first maybe 12 months to 18 months, we're not really going to make a lot of money or any money at all because we're new. And then we need to be able to have working capital to help us do that. But once we get those done, I think we should be good. And I think Wamaida's got a question, if I may answer, interest rates.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Wamaida, that's one of those things that we will be able to decide on our own, given the prevailing business environment, on what the rates should be. Of course, we'll have preferential rates to our membership, but they should range between maybe 2 or 3%, depending on what that would be at the time.
Okay, and did you tell us the difference between the SACCOs and the? I don't think I asked that question. Difference between the SACCOs and the credit union. Did I ask you that, or if you did, I didn't quite grasp that. If you can help distinguish between, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really great question, and I have to be very careful how I address that because there's several issues that come up when you talk about savings and corporate. I forgot the full terminology, but a SACCO, it's generally licensed by the Ministry of Cooperatives in Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. So from that standpoint, it's limited in jurisdiction to Kenya. So that our folks that have SACCOs or formed SACCOs here, they're not necessarily recognized in the United States. So that's a big difference. Now, our recognition, the distinction is that, of course, we're a bank. It's just we're a different bank. We're owned by the members. We would have a door front. We would have an ability to issue debit cards, for example, ATM machines, access to ATMs, loans, credit cards, all that a bank can do in the Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back. But all that a bank can do in the United States can, right? We'll be able to do it. Those are things that a SACCO is just by definition limited to. I think what the SACCOs do, the ones that I've interacted with, of course, they'll collect money from members, the ones that want to put in the money. And I think they set up maybe accounts within their accounting system. And then they deposit that money. Maybe they deposit it here, some of it, maybe they might send it to Kenya. So there's a limitation on how much they can do as a SACCO. And that's just because of the nature of the organization. Most of you know, finance is one of those very highly regulated industries in the United States. And I hate to use this terminology, but generally SACCOs, they operate under the radar of the law because the law does not have as much access to the activities. They don't report to the state treasurer, for example, or the control of money on what the activities are. And that's a calculated risk. I'm not going to get into that, but those are some of the nuances that separate a credit union that is licensed in the United States by the federal government versus a SACCO that operates under the purview or the jurisdiction of Kenya. So, in a SACCO, if something happens with your investment, okay. So in a SACCO, if something happens with your money in the United States, you really might not have as much recourse. That money is not insured, for example. That's just a simple example. So you can't, other than maybe going to, then say, oh, somebody took my money and ran with it, or maybe going to court. A federal credit union, you would have recourse. The government insures your money and you will get it immediately. It's established that it's been lost. So those are some of the differences. That said, I want to be very clear that we support the efforts of the SACCOs because, we're all after pretty much the same thing. We want to be able to invest in a lot of good things and be able to grow our money and do the kind of things that we want to do as a community. So what we've said to SACCOs that are in the United States, while you're operating on that front, once we get chartered, let's figure out if there's a way we can all operate on a common platform. And hopefully that's something that they will embrace.
Okay, there you have it, because I have some few people was inboxing me to ask that question. You have it, if you're specifically looking to invest in Kenya, a SACCO might be a solution for you, but credit union, it doesn't have that limitation. You can either do it here or whatever. So let's move on.
Yeah, let me expand on that. I think what I also want to say is that the credit union gives you more options in terms of where you can invest in the United States, in Kenya, because again, like I said, as a field of membership, we have that flexibility because of our unique set of circumstances that allows us to kind of expand across the globe if we wanted to.
Okay. The other thing that I found when I was doing research on these Diaspora Federal Credit Union is not for-profit organization. If you can expound on that, I know it might mean different to different people. So if you want to explain to that, David, please.
Yes, of course, clearly. And I think that's a misnomer. The way they say it's not for profit, it's organized as a non-profit because it's member owned. And so every time we make a profit, we turn around and give it back to the members. So really, from an entity standpoint, there's no profit motive for it. We're just making money for myself, for Georgie, for whoever else, and say, hey, buddy, we got some money that we just made. So since we can't really hold it unless we want to, hey, here's your money back, here's the profit we made, and things like that. So I think that's what that is. But now, if we wanted to expand, for example, and we make a surplus, which means profit, of course, we can use that to invest into, plow back in the business and grow from there. But generally speaking, it's not intended for profit, like, let's say, Bank of America, that is listed in the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, for example. We're not going to have that capacity or ability to do it because our scope is narrowed that way.
Okay, so from my understanding, what you're saying is the credit unions, the profit goes to the members, unlike the banks, which it goes to the shareholders or whatever. But the credit unions, the capital you're going to make, it goes to the members who own the credit union. Is that correct?
That's a very good the definition of it, because it's really semantics. Like I said, it's if we break even, then we're not for profit. But nobody's in business just to break even. We're in business to make a profit and grow. It's just that by definition, really, we consider a non-profit even when we make profit. Now, the banks, when they make profit for the shareholders, like you pointed out, and they give those monies back to them, or they use it to reinvest or plow back into the organization.
Okay. I know this is a big milestone to have a credit union, which is Kenyan-based in the United States. Is there anything you guys are looking to do to bridge the gaps between, the Kenya and United States? Maybe somebody want to join the credit union, have some interest in Kenya. I know you have mentioned about, a home loan. Is there so many ideas you have to bridge this gap, unlike any other credit union here in the United States?
Oh, very good question, George, because that's exactly the intent behind this whole thing. I think right now, and statistics show this, that Africa is the next frontier, economic frontier. So
Yeah.
whoever is at the ground floor with that projection or with that in advancing the African narrative, from an investment standpoint, I think they stand to gain a whole lot. And Kenya is very well positioned to be a beneficiary of that. What's been missing in this picture is us as the diaspora. So what I'm hoping is that this coalition morphs into an economic movement that literally grows so much so that we can easily expand and start investing in Kenya. So as I said at the beginning, because our strategy really has been how do we get all our folks into this platform, financial platform, and then from there, we can branch out and start looking into a lot of other things that this vehicle that we've established, this common platform, which is the credit union, we can use it to invest in other areas outside of here and make even better or bigger returns. So it's kind of bifurcated, if you will. We have a credit union that we're setting up. We're going to try to get as many of our diaspora on that one credit union platform. And from that platform, we're going to be investing in a lot of other things. And it's all going to be driven by us. You, Georgie, all the guys on this call, please, we need you on board. We need your ideas. This, I think if we handle it right, it's going to be our moment. And I hope that answers that question because as much as we want to do stuff here, I think doing a lot of other things in Kenya with the kind of returns that we can make for ourselves makes a whole lot more business sense than being confined in the United States.
Okay, and I think the other thing which is not clear to me is I know the credit union is owned by its members, but where are we getting the startup capital? Do we even have it? I don't know how it works, but how are we going to get all the startup capital, if you will, please?
Yeah, well, that's a good, that's the $1 million question. So let me try
Yeah,
to answer it as tactfully as I can because I don't
yeah.
know if I mentioned this from the beginning. Um, our working capital, because we're not a for-profit, we're not defined
Mm-hmm.
as a for-profit organization. We can't really
True.
go out and raise money directly and say, come invest in the credit union. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
donated, or we have to be creative in how we raise the capital. So, and the way this works, it's estimated that for $100,000 we hold in, no, excuse me, for $1 million we hold in deposits, we need about $100,000 in working capital. Okay, so that is where we have some opportunity or we need to leverage A from our membership and B from those entities that, well, they can be benefactors, meaning that there are companies or angels out here that would like to help see us grow. We're submitting, as we speak, we've submitted requests to so many other entities, and I think some of them in Kenya that would really want to be a part of this. What we've told them is that we got something good going on. If you want to be a part of it as we grow, please help us. And so we're getting commitments from them so as we speak, but it's one thing to get a commitment or a pledge. You then got to turn around and convert it into, of course, money. Now, I think once we get as close as we can to getting that 6-digit charter number, then we believe that we would be in a good position to really say we have what we need. We'll be coming to our members, of course, and whoever wants to see this succeed, whatever they're comfortable with, we'll take it. And also whoever else that want to be a benefactor that we're working with, when it's all said and done, we should be okay.
And what number are you thinking? What's the minimum? Because I'm not very familiar. Is it 100,000, 200,000, 300,000? Like, what's the minimum? Can you even start with any credit union?
Yeah, well, it really ranges because right now as we do this, I'm working on the business plan. We're working on the business plan. So again, like I said, if let's say we told the government that we expect to have 1 or 2 million in deposits in the first year, for example, we would have to show 200,000 in working capital that we have on hand to be able to start. So it will fluctuate. So depending on how we submit it, let's say our membership, just pull a number. Let's say 10K, 10,000 Kenyans. We estimate to grow those accounts 10,000, an average deposit of maybe $500. That's $5 million that we can tell the government that we're going to have about $5 million in deposits. And the government is going to turn around and say, you need to show us $500,000 in working capital. Right.
Oh, great. That's a very good answer, David. Let's move on to leadership.
Let me Redempt. Do you have any to deposit money every month, or that's a cycle? Redemptor, if I may, George. No. You don't have to. This is a bank. So whatever you deposit, when you deposit it, it's okay. I mean, that's up to you. We just have to have our committees, once they come into place, they'll decide if there's a minimum membership that you need to hold. Most credit unions have membership fees, and we expect to have that because it will help alleviate some of the liquidity issues we have from an operating capital standpoint or working capital. Go ahead, George.
Okay. There you have it, Redemptor. Let's talk about the leadership. I was going through your website, and I gotta tell you what I saw. I think you have a top-notch, board of executive members there. If you can at this time kind of mention some of the, the members of is it board of directors or the board members? If you can mention them just briefly, to the viewers so they can know when they form these, when they join this credit union, who is going to be in the leadership team.
Oh, very good. Thank you again, George. Yes, we have a very superb leadership team, and thanks for recognizing those folks. The way we went about it is, first of all, to try and put everybody together and say, do you see a future for our dream, for this vision? And the folks that you see at the credit union website are those people that so far have committed to what we believe in. So far, there's about 10 or 15 of us over there, www.diasporafcu.org. Now, I am considered the president and, organizer.
CEO.
Organizer. But I'm pleased. Everybody else on that side is actually a board member. Now, we are morphing actually as we speak, and I am so pleased tonight to announce to first time here to those of you viewing that going forward, starting tomorrow morning or tonight, later on tonight, Lily Richards, Lily Okage, depending on how you know her, she runs Quitu, but she's also accepted to be the president and CEO of Diaspora Federal Credit Union. So I want to congratulate her for that, and I think, as you all know,
congratulations, Lily. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good.
Lily brings a lot to the table. She's a leader. She's a go-getter, and those are the kind of people that we need to be able to grow this. So that said, we also have a lot of folks we have Lily Kaiser is on the board. We have Mary Kimari is on the board. We have and usually I know them until I'm put on the spot. I don't know who is there. I apologize for but we have about and the others. Majority of this is run by folks that we recruited from the Quitu leadership teams. Gina Ayako, she's there. There's another guy called Gladys Griffin, she's part of the leadership team. For men, it's myself. There's another lawyer out of Washington, D.C. called Samuel Omwenga. There's from Atlanta, there's a buddy of mine. He's also in business, Ralph Klondu. And I think there's a friend of mine, not a friend of mine, but one of our team members from Alabama, Jacob Lamek. Another one is a doctor out of Texas. It's called Jacob Ongaki. Who am I leaving? I mentioned Mary. Gosh, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
It's about 10 of them, right? So
yeah,
it's okay.
I'm leaving maybe one or two. Gosh, forgive me. If they see me, I'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
But the point of it all is that we've assembled a very formidable team that, you know, believes in what we believe in, and we have a common interest. We have a unity of purpose in how we go about moving this entity forward. So it's just a matter of getting our act together and making things happen as a team.
Yeah, and I know this is appointment since you're starting the credit union. So are the members going to gain the right to vote once it's up and running?
Oh yes, we have to. That's pretty standard with, you know, credit unions. So
yeah.
We have a set of bylaws, for example, that, you know, are going to govern how we operate the business itself, and what it is that we want the memberships to adhere to, what it means to be active, what you can expect, what our loan policies, investment policies, and things like that. But also part of that is we're going to have annual members meetings. Right now, what we try to do to grow this organization is actually host diaspora conferences. We have one coming up in Dallas, Texas, this coming Memorial Day weekend. So, you know, we're moving in that trajectory where we want to bring everybody to the same platform.
Okay, and how many times do they serve the members, the president and yourself and everybody else? Do they have any time limited? Yeah.
Well, at this point, really, we don't have a limited time, and there's a reason for that. Because we really want to be able to get to a point where we've grown the entity without losing sight of the vision itself. As it stands now, we hold that vision, so we don't really want to relinquish it too soon and have things fall to the side. So we've left that open, and I think we have some leeway from an organizational standpoint to hold off on changing the management team too often without having realized the goals we want to realize.
Okay, let's talk about the product and financial services you guys are going to be offering. What are the benefits of joining this specific Diaspora Federal Credit Union?
Okay, so again, I think the best benefit that I would say outside of the normal banking realm, where you have, let's say, your bank account, your ATM, access to the ATM debit, I should say, access to the ATMs, credit cards, car loans, mortgages, and things like that. We would also be able to provide a lot more services. For example, life insurance, you know, or insurance in general. That's something that I think every one of our people needs. That's a service we'll be able to offer. Financial advising to our membership. Those members that want to invest in other products, other services, for example, in Kenya, for example, we'll be able to provide that platform so that you have a plethora of choices on where you want to put your money. And like I said before, this is going to be member driven. In other words, for example, right now as we speak, real estate in Kenya is a major deal. But we're being gouged. When you see folks come from Kenya to sell either plots or even housing, they sell those units at the price that competes with the American market, for example. So we know that there's a disconnect somewhere. And the point of it is that if we took part in the process or even own that whole process ourselves, invest in our own real estate and get our own hire or start our own company that manages that real estate so that somebody like myself, if I wanted to buy a home that we built from investments that came off of the credit union platform, for example, and then we have our own arm or company that we own, or segment of our company that manages those properties and rents them on my behalf, for example, so that when they collect the rent, that rent goes toward paying the mortgage that you got off of the credit union. It's a vertically integrated process, investment platform that is all encapsulated in one-stop shopping type of a deal. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So
Yeah.
that's just an example of an opportunity that we as a diaspora, can leverage and take advantage of. And Joji, remember, it all begins with the idea. All we see here, Bill Gates, even Donald
Yeah.
Trump, whatever these guys are doing, even this great show of yours that you have that now provides us with the platform, it all started with an idea that you had, and
Yeah.
look at
Thanks.
where we are today. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of how we plan to evolve. And
Yeah.
yes, you're right. We need to also, insurance would cover funerals, for example. Let's say, when our members pass away, rather than go to some of these fundraisers, we can offer blanket insurance for our membership. You start out maybe with 10,000 just for being an account holder. So we'll get to that point if that's what's going to be the incentive to get folks to open accounts and get away with some of this base that we do.
Yeah, and my recommendation will be, because I like all my services in one bank, foreign exchange. If I have to wire money to the bank in Kenya, I would like it to see in one bank, instead of withdrawing the money, go to the Bank of America. I think that's something I would, attract me more to join this, credit union. But those benefits, that's good enough.
And it's funny you say that, George, because actually we spoke to, I don't know if I'm allowed to name the bank name, but we spoke to them. What you just said is exactly what they said in terms of accepting, for example, dollar denominated deposits. Because interest rate, the U.S. and Kenya does not have the same interest rate parity. In other words, Kenya, you get a whole lot more in interest, or they charge a whole lot more than they do in the United States. If we wanted to get a good return on our investment, for example, we can say, okay, we're going to put a portion of that in a dollar denominated account in a bank in Kenya, and we earn a lot more interest, and that becomes a return for our membership here in the United States. So the possibilities are endless. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, when it comes to loans and and mortgage or anything else or any other service or product, is there anything you guys looking to do different just to attract more customers? Anything you trying to be like? I know you talk about being unique, but anything you think on top of your head, like, can you do a little bit different to attract more Kenyans?
Yeah, so one of those things is actually what we just mentioned here, which is insurance, for example. If we can find cover at a cheaper rate for us, just to say that, let's say if you remember. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me? I think I'm losing you, David. You there? I think I lost David. Let me try to bring him back here. David, go ahead and send the request again so we can finish this. I'm waiting for him to, you know, send a request again. I don't know what happened. David, if you're watching here, go ahead and send a request again so we can finish the broadcast. I think we have one more topic we have to cover, and then that will be it. So let's see whether David is online so he can. Yeah, David, if you can send the request again, if you're watching. You there, David? Alrighty, go ahead and send the request again, David. Not sure what happened. I'm waiting for David to join me back. I don't know what happened. I can invite him back. David. Trying to. Let me see. David, if you can send the request. I'm not sure what happened. It happens. David, if you're watching, go ahead and send the invite so we can finish the broadcast. The website, those who are asking for the website, is www.diasporafcu.org. That's the website. I'm waiting for David to join me here. Let's see. Mary, can you check on David, please? Mary Kim, if you want to check on, okay, here he is. Oh, there you are. Welcome back.
Oh, sorry, everybody for that.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a phone. I should have used my iPad, I think.
It
Sorry.
happens sometimes. Don't even apologize. So it's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where were we? We were I think we are. I asked you the question about the stuff you guys are gonna do a little bit different, and I think you already answered that. If you can move to is there anything you want to add to that? The membership, the financial services and the products. Anything you want to do different? I think you answered that question. So yeah.
Right. So I think from our standpoint, we start giving these loans, the flexibility that we have just because of the unique nature of our customer or membership base, we would be able to expand outside the borders of the United States. So I think that flexibility that a lot of other banks don't have for various reasons. For example, they can't track their assets. They can't hold collateral outside of the United States. In our case, I think we should be able to hold collateral for homes, let's say in Kenya, because that's just defines who we are. So I think overall, when it's all said and done, it's an one-stop, all-encompassing opportunity to invest, to put your money where you can not only watch it, monitor it, but also have the flexibility to use it as you see fit.
Okay, and I see the questions here about where it's going to be based at the headquarters, and I think you said it's Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm asking why not Dallas? Because I think we have many Kenyans here in Dallas, and I'm not trying to campaign for Dallas, but have you thought about that?
Yeah, well,
this is where we roam, man. This is where we are.
That's where all the action is, right?
It all happened in Dallas, Texas. So why not here?
Well, actually, you're right, because in a way, nobody does big things like Texas do. You guys do big things in a big way.
We make things happen here.
So, yeah, but on a serious note, what we've said is that it's going to depend more so on where the demographics are. There's our operating model is going to be two-pronged. One is that we'll have, of course, a storefront, so to speak, where people can actually walk in and talk to, to somebody, or a teller or a manager or whatever the case might be. But because of how we're scattered all over the country, because we're stretched all over the country, the management, and this are probably going to defer most of these to Lily and the team. Of course, with me being part of it, we're going to be making collective decisions. But Dallas now has become more of a contender from a decision standpoint, and owing to your population, you guys. But the other part of it that I don't want to lose sight of is that majority of our transactions for those folks outside of Dallas, people like me in Atlanta, for example, that own account or have account, it's going to be online. So we're going to have an online presence for those that want to make deposits or transact online. That option is going to be available to you. And then we'll have a storefront in one of the cities, most likely Dallas, to your point, George, where, you guys, or those folks that live in Dallas can just literally walk in and have their answers, questions answered. I'll take care of this, so to speak.
Yeah, good. Let's talk about the membership. What is the membership criteria? Anybody can join, or just Kenyans or Africans, or what? If you can expound on that.
Yes, I would love to. Let me be very careful or tactical on how I respond to that as well. The charter actually is for Kenyans. The field of membership is for Kenyans and their families. Now, if you walk down the street and you see a credit union open and you want to open an account, generally they're not going to ask you whether you belong to the Navy, for example. Let's say Navy Credit Union. They'll still open an account for you. So that's one of those nuances that we have some flexibility. We're open to all Kenyans. They're automatically eligible. But if a Kenyan walks in with their friend or somebody that does not have access to banking and say, we want to open, I don't foresee anything that would prohibit us or prevent us from opening a banking service for them. So to answer your question is that we're open to everybody. but
Okay,
primarily
and
Kenyan.
yeah, and I agree with that because there is a credit union that I opened about maybe 10 years ago. It was Boeing Employee Credit Union. I have never worked there. My family doesn't work there, but I just walk in there and I still have the account, you know, after so many years. So I think you're right. How does one become a member?
Very good. Now, for those of you, we want as many of our Kenyans to become members of this credit union. You own it. It's ours. Once we get licensed, our challenge, our appeal to you is to become a member. And it's really, really easy. For example, in this case, even though we're not licensed yet, if you go to the to www.diasporafcu.org, there's a tab that say become a member. You know, you literally sign up. And then from there, once we get that license, we'll just convert your account into a membership account. Of course, we'll ask for more information, your ID, your credit. I mean, we got to follow what the federal government wants us to do in terms of opening an account. But at this point, you can be a potential member, a preliminary member.
Hope I didn't lose you again,
Go
David.
to our website.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, go to our website, www.diasporafce.org. There's a membership tab. Just sign up, and we'd love to have you.
So we can sign up tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Please sign up tonight if you get a moment. It takes literally a minute or less. We just want your name, address, and email address. There's a field that says pay for membership. We're not collecting membership yet, membership fee. Let's just say that. We're not accepting any funds yet for membership yet. We will be announcing when, but right now we need more of us to show interest, to join us, to be a part of this whole process.
Alrighty, I'll be doing that as soon as we finish this broadcast. So that's good. But the actual registration, you don't know the dates yet, right?
No, because now, like I said, we have to submit the final package to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to go through some training. They got to show us. So it's a long process actually, and we got to show how we set up. And like I said, we're working on that. I'm working on a lot of that as we speak with the team. And once we submit that, but the projection is that our conference is in May, Memorial Day. So after that, I think maybe several weeks after that, the government should be able to tell us yay or nay. And it's funny, all they do is send you a number, an operating number saying you're now licensed to operate your bank or your credit union.
And the conference is going to be here in Dallas, Memorial Weekend, right?
Yes. Yes, okay. We're coming to you on Memorial Day. We're taking the message across the country because, like I said earlier, we want to build a strong coalition of Kenyans. We want to take a strong message that, other organizations, the Jews do it. They've done great things for their countries. The Chinese, the Nigerians, Indians. It's not that they were created any different than we have the brain power to do the things that they can do. And that's the message we want to take all over the country.
That's a very good point, David. And I'm going to ask you, and I'm almost done, like, what are you going to say to the naysayers? Like, why a Kenyan open a credit union? Like, what the heck? Like, what are you going to, because some people, they're very skeptical, we can do it. Right. As you have said, many people have done it, they are not created any different. But if there's any one thing you can tell the viewers, the naysayers, one word, what can you tell them just to convince them we can do this all together?
And that's a really good point. I wish there's that one word that you can say that would convince folks other than really watch me. Sometimes that's a
Yeah.
motivation sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, cynics can either bring you down or discourage you from achieving what you would have otherwise achieved or what you really were meant to achieve, or they can in some cases actually be your motivators. You've heard that
Exactly.
expression, let your haters be your motivators. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we're taking into account all the cynics, for example, but all the positives. We want to focus on the positive side of all this, what it will bring. It's one of those things that you never know until you try. You know, the possibilities. We don't want to be in a position where we could have been, would have been, should have been, or whatever the
True.
case. Just how do you have known? You didn't go out there and try. And a lot of
Exactly.
great organizations, they didn't have crystal ball on where they were going to be. Bill Gates didn't have a crystal ball, or Mark Zuckerberg didn't have a crystal ball on where he was going to be in 2017. So they had a belief, just like we do, and they ran with it. And they had folks that believed in them, they joined them, and they hang tight, and guess what happened? So I think we have the willpower, we got the strength, we have the brain power, we have the wherewithal, and with the cynics, we just tell them, if you cannot join us, please don't get in our way. Just get out of the way. Let us keep our journey.
Ooh, I like that positivity. That's what I would like to hear in 2018. Any negativity, just take it off, brush it off, and move on.
Wrap it up.
So, wrap it
Yeah,
off.
there.
Yeah. So, kudos. So,
Yeah.
is there any way we can be able to volunteer in these credit union? How can we do to help? If you can give us some other ways, as Kenyans, we can help you guys to pass the message or something else. What can we do?
Very good point. Georgie, we need all of us. There's enough room in our tent for everybody. Right now, our immediate need as we sit here is actually two things. We need more members, of course, to sign up, and your platform obviously helps a lot in us being able to do that. And part of it, we need our surveys. It's going to be part of the package. We have a survey form. It's actually a Google form that we designed. It's very simple. We just want to be able to see the interest or gauge that interest in being part of the credit union. And that's what we're going to be submitting to the federal government. So those are two immediate needs we have right now: membership and doing those surveys. The rest of it, of course, we'll communicate, but we also got to get our house in order. We've established opportunities in terms of organizational structure. We are reassigning positions from just being board members to actually having a title that has meaning, because then that's how you delegate not only authority, but also the roles that our management team is going to be playing. I want to say that we have room for more folks. If there are folks out there that want to be a part of our management team, of course, we'll do vetting, but we have a few more roles that we believe people can play. And the way we want to go about this is have positions out, that are spread all over the country, because we're serving the whole of the United States. Again, it's yours prerogative on how you want to proceed, but we invite those of you who want to be a part of this to join to run this. Once the branch opens, we're going to have a need for volunteers that are going to be manning the tellers and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't have any more questions, but I just want to read like two or three, questions here from the viewers. Okay. And I would ask you and your team if you can come on this video and try to answer, as much as, questions as you can. But there's one question here from Werimo Kimani is asking, what the difference between what you guys are doing and Canards? You can distinguish, and I think maybe she came in late. You already gave that distinction, but she's asking, that question, the difference, what, you guys and Canards.
Yes. So, Wairemo, just so you know, the difference really, if you want to say it, it's a difference between a credit union, which is a bank that is licensed in the United States, and a SACCO, which is, I think Canada is a SACCO. Uh, a SACCO, just defining it loosely, is an investment club. Okay, in the context of what we're talking about. So it's kind of loosely formed, even though in some cases they are licensed by the cooperative ministry. I think the Ministry of Cooperatives in Kenya, but the Ministry of Cooperatives jurisdiction is in Kenya. So if you're licensed to operate a SACCO in Kenya, then you fall within their purview, their control, their regulation, and their jurisdiction. But once you cross over to the United States, then you really, I mean, the title a SACCO in the context of what it is in Kenya kind of loses its meaning because they have no oversight over what you do and none of that. If you distinguish that with what we're talking about in the United States, this is a bank that is licensed by the federal government, whose deposits are insured up to $250,000. You get your credit card or ATM card or debit card. You get an official bank account that you open. You get your checking account, a checkbook you write checks on. Your money is insured, like I said. You take loans if you qualify. You take mortgages. You can buy a car off of the loans. So these are some of the things that, distinguish a SACCO or KNAT, for example, from us. But again, like I said, that said, we encourage what the SACCOs are doing because they're part of, the whole, I want to call the whole circle of what we're trying to achieve. They're part of the financial ecosystem. That's the word I was looking for. So if you're part of the ecosystem, is that how then do we plug into each other? We hope that once we get licensed, we can work together on a common platform, which is really what this is all about. Hopefully the folks at KNAT might want to say, we think that we would be more or better served if we merged with you guys and if our membership would be a part of your membership, and then we leverage our synergies as a group and become one big thing. So we encourage that. I don't want to sound like I'm diminishing or trying to undermine their role. No. I'm just trying to draw a very clear distinction.
Yeah, distinction is very important. And I can see a lot of volunteers there. That's good. They say they're going to go and volunteer. So that's good.
Thank you. I was asking Redemption about ATM. Yeah, we do have ATMs. We will have ATM machines. You will have access to ATMs across the country. Fortunately, the credit unions have a system where actually you can access a network of ATM machines virtually at no fee. It doesn't have to be, Diaspora Credit Union teller machine.
Okay, and I can read one more comment here. Masharia Wagedaiga is saying, Joji, I like how that guy answered all the questions. Knowledge is power. I don't know what I should say, like Jeff Koinange, oh my, I can say that, you did a pretty good job,
Thank you. Y'all making me blush. I'm an old man making an old man blush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you did a good job.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Georgie, to be honest with you, bro, I think, man, and like I've told you in private, I think that I have a good feeling about where we are in 2018. And sure. I think that, maybe it's timing is everything. I just feel that if we can get our people on this one platform or get enough following to where we get what we call I call it critical mass. It's one of those things where you get to, you're not going backwards. The opportunities here. I've seen some folks that, of course, we've been taken advantage of. And I understand where the cynics are coming from because Some of them have invested a lot of money in folks that come tell them good stories but don't deliver. What I can say is that, look at the big picture, look at where we are. And if you join this, you're not joining to give money to David or the team, Lily or the team that is managing this. We want you to be a part of this. We want you to come to every meeting, all these diaspora conferences, we call them. We're going to convert them into general meetings. We want your say at the table. And we want you to direct how the money is going. You'll get your financial statements every month. You'll get all the activity. You will see it. We're not going to hold anything. We just want to be as transparent to our members as much as we can.
All right. And I think that said, we're going to, end this broadcast. Mine is to say thank you so much for joining the Prudentials. I am here to support you. If you need me to do anything, whether it's volunteering or anything, just let me know. And I cannot wait for you guys to come on the Prudentials and give us the reviews after the Memorial Weekend. So guys, for now, I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to give you the closing remark, David, then we can end this broadcast for tonight.
Oh, George, thank you. Thank you so much, bro, for the opportunity to be on the Prudential Show. I truly appreciate this opportunity and what it means to us, but it wouldn't have been possible other than your genius in putting it all together. And this is all what it's all about. For the rest of you guys that have watched this tonight, thank you. I know it's late at night, but you took your time to listen to what it is. Hope you got one thing, just one thing. Maybe you got all of it, but if there's one thing that would propel you to join our organization, this is the time to do it. We got a lot of good coming. So hang in with us. Let's make this happen. This is our year. This is the beginning. And I'm counting on all of you. Let's get it all done. Mzee used to say, Arambe. Arambe starts here.
Yeah,
so let's get it done. Thank you.
Yeah. This is good. So guys, the website again is www.diasporafcu.org. Go ahead and there and sign that registration form. So that's it, David. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning to the Prudentials. This Sunday, I am going to bring Eric Option Leander. He's based in Kansas City. We're going to be talking about some financial stuff. I'm still working on the interview. But for now, have a good night. We'll see you later. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.